Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Naked TikTok. And I have a naked lunch for you, just like my guest called it. And so this should be fun. And yes, these are my last two interviews for the year. So I thought we will celebrate a little bit with some Christmas cheer uh, here from Miami, which is so hot here today, just for everybody watching us everywhere else. But yes, let's welcome Dr. Liam Schubel. Thank you for being in my naked show. How are
Well,
you doing
thank you.
today?
Thank you, Dr. Tovar. It's a great pleasure to be with you. I'm, of course, broadcasting live from the People's Republic of New Jersey, where I got to tell you, it's almost 70 degrees here. So I also want to thank global warming for making this possible. It's crazy. what, what a Christmas we're going to have. I think we'll be out on the beach here at the Jersey Shore.
Oh my God. Oh, and for everybody watching, please share. This is going to be a very fun conversation. And if you can hear us okay, because I hear him a little bit far, please give us thumbs up. Say yes, say that you can hear us because we don't want to have this great conversation and not. And no, Dr. Knowles, he hasn't mentioned you yet, but we will get to you, I am sure. Thank you for watching. Wherever you're at on vacation already enjoying this beautiful weather. And yeah, I can't believe it's 75 degrees. I'm going to spend New Year's Eve in New York City. So I'm
Oh,
actually looking forward to wrapping myself up in more clothes than I own. But for those people that don't know you, which I'm not sure who doesn't, but for those that don't, can you give us a brief introduction? Because I know your introduction could be very long, but we're going to keep it brief with the top points. Go ahead, Dr. Schubel.
certainly. Well, I thank you, Dr. Tovar. I have to tell you, I'm first and foremost a father of four children, husband of a smoking hot Thai wife, which irritates a lot of people when I say that because they say, "Well, doesn't she have a personality?" Well, obviously, if I wouldn't have married her if that wasn't the case, you know. But the rest is just an added bonus. Um, and so that's my personal life. In political life, I am the president of the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations. In my business life, I run a lot of different businesses, but my primary business is Schubel Chiropractica, which is a 20 office chain of chiropractic centers, an empire for good, if you will, that includes Peru, Colombia, and the Dominican Republic. I am also co-founder of the Best Mission Trip Ever, which is a phenomenal mission trip that we do to the Amazon jungle as well as to the Andes Mountains of Peru. Phenomenal experience for people around the world that have the opportunity to go to those mission trips. Also, I am a co-founder of Schubel Vision Elite, which is a private mentorship group where we work with doctors of chiropractic on the 5 core fundamentals of how to grow and scale your business. Speaking of that, I'm also an author of 2 smash hit books. The first one is Cast to Be Chiropractors, which really should be in every chiropractic college. It should be required reading for every chiropractic student and doctor alike. People tell me from around the world that it's the greatest book ever written since the invention of the Gutenberg printing press, if you can believe that, Dr. Aura. And it is the end-all, be-all in chiropractic mindset. In all seriousness, it has, I would say, saved people's lives. It has helped people that didn't know whether what they were doing in choosing the profession of chiropractic was right for them. And it's helped a lot of people in practice and in their student experience. And my latest book, which is out today on Amazon.com, is Schubel's Holy Grail of Business, which was, of course, created because in my travels around the world, there's a schism or a disconnect between the greatness of what we do as chiropractors. I mean, think about it. If what we do is so phenomenal, right, we optimize the human expression of people on the planet, well, then shouldn't doctors of chiropractic be abundantly successful all around the world?
Yep.
Clarence Gonstead used to say, when what you're doing appears not to work in chiropractic, don't question the principle of chiropractic, question the application of that principle. And one of the things I found that I love so much about chiropractic is it's based on 33 immutable principles, Palmer's laws of life. In business, which is an area where chiropractors are very weak on, there are principles as well. when you live within inside those principles of business, your business is abundant. When you live outside those principles, your business is struggling. And that's why I wrote this book. It's the core fundamentals of how to grow and scale your business, Schubel's holy grail of business. The reason why is because I figure if we can combine mindset, which is cast to be chiropractors, with Schubel's holy grail, the business principles of chiropractic profession, we're going to take over the world with this thing called TIC, Teaching Innate Chiropractic. And, you know, there's so many people, Dr. Ara, that speak from the stage about this. And there's so many people that go to chiropractic seminars around the world, and they really get spizzed up watching these people on the stage. But then they go home and they fall flat on their face after a week or two, because you can do the wrong thing with so much of excitement, and it's still the wrong thing. So you have to figure out what are the principles of success and then apply those in your life. And that's what we've been working on, you know, to grow 20 offices in the 23 years of that I've been in business. To be around, you know, anybody can open up a bunch of chiropractic offices. The question is, can you keep them running? And we've been able to do that now for 23 years. I've worked with well over 180 different associates. So listen, I know how chiropractors think. I know what they do, and I know what those subluxations or what those blockages are in order to help them achieve their greatest in life. So that's my short introduction, Dr. R.
That's your short introduction. Wow. Imagine if we were doing the long one. But for the sake of the short show, I know you are promoting your book and you speak so highly of your books. And I'm going to be very honest. I haven't read it. So I will be looking for my copy in the mail. But if you had to summarize, which I know is a hard word for you, but if you had to just say, what are your top 3 points or tips? I love short tips. I feel that we are just in this world and we just need small amounts of information in order to want more, right? So if you can give the audience 3 tips out of either one of your books on how to unify chiropractic, get that TIC going, and become more certain and able to run successful businesses so we can actually impact the masses like we should be doing, right? So if you can give us 3 top tips, short tips that we can start using right away, because everybody's thinking about the holidays and the whole things, but if you can give us something that is going to just like, I got this.
Right. Well, you've heard it often said, Dr. Ora, that you know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Yes. And this is a great time of year to be having this interview and to be talking about this topic because chiropractic deserves to be #1 on the planet as a choice in healthcare. So if you look at where we are in the profession, why aren't we unified? Well, you know, it's because we get in these infighting. And I saw your interview with Dr. Danny Knowles, and I thought it was a great thing that he said, you know, we need to start loving each other more. Yep. And I've been guilty. Listen, when I'm attacked, I've been known to be from New York City, you know, on the streets, gang brutal. You know, that's a weakness that I have. And so I've been learning how to be more loving and how to be more caring as well. But the thing that we need to get really focused on is, what is the mission of chiropractic? And, you know, whether a person does other things than chiropractic, maybe somebody has a passion about nutrition or a passion about physiotherapy or a passion about working with somebody's mental state. Those are all things that are certainly valid in a chiropractic profession, you know, certainly valid for our chiropractic practice members. But I think the one thing that unifies us and really makes us separate, distinct, and valuable, extremely valuable, is that ability to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. So, you know, I'm not for unifying just to be unified. I'm for unifying around a common purpose or a common mission. And the mission of chiropractic, unquestionably, no matter what other things that you do in your office, unquestionably, what a practice member cannot get anywhere else on the planet is that specific delivery of your specific chiropractic service of detection, analysis, and correction of vertebral subluxation. So I think, first of all, we need to get in our mindsets clear, what is it that makes chiropractic unique, separate, and distinct, and own that. And number 2, then we have to take that mindset and start to get a vision bigger than ourselves. There are so many chiropractors that are focused on, you know, when I ask them, what's your goals? They say, well, I just like to pay the bills. You know, and that's a great goal. But if you are successful, that's all you're ever going to be able to do with your life. And so where I want to get chiropractic is to start realizing that we've been blessed with this thing called detection, analysis, and correction of vertebral subluxation. We've been blessed with the ability to optimize any human being's life on the planet. How huge is that? But with that blessing, and this is something my father always told me when we were growing up, because we certainly grew up with not much financial wherewithal. And he really broke his back, so to speak, to help us get through school. And he said, listen, you're going to learn something in chiropractic that is going to change people's lives. It's a blessing. You'll never have to worry about finances again in your life because you're going to be so valuable to so many people's lives. But with those blessings come the moral obligation to share those blessings with the world. And so many doctors of chiropractic are not getting out into the community, whether it be talks with the dinners with the doc, whether it be going to different community meetings and finding out, identifying who the key influencers are in your community and making a relationship with those people and letting them know this is who I am as a doctor of chiropractic. This is what I do that's of value and benefit. And then opening up your office to serve those people. So become active. You know, there's an idea that, and I see it with students of chiropractic, that, hey, I got my diploma, I'm all set. You know? And that is probably one of the, then they fall flat on their face. It's probably one of the most disappointing things that happens in their lives. With that diploma, you just have a license and your license to go out and get your service to the community. But they don't know you're there. The other error that doctors of chiropractic make, and I see this all the time, they're brilliant chiropractic adjusters. So they think that the technique is what's going to fill their chiropractic office. And by the way, technique is super important. Nobody here is saying that it's not. But I've seen doctors of chiropractic that when they adjust you, it's like, boom, I'm connected to God. Thank you, baby Jesus. You know, this is the greatest thing that ever happened in my life. But then I go out in the waiting room and I hear crickets. You know, grillos. They're out there and they're making all kinds of noise, and it's because they don't have any patients or practice members. So the second tip that I would give for 2019 is start identifying who the influencers are in your community. And guess what? Start taking responsibility for your community. You know, one of the things I talk about in Schubel's Holy Grail of Business is Schubel's law of concentric circles. And this is how I started all my practices. You put a dot where the center of you is, where your business center is, where your chiropractic center is, and then you draw 1 kilometer or 1 mile circles, concentric circles around that area. That's your zone of impact. And so then what you need to start identifying is all those people. First of all, you say, all these people within 20, 30, 40, 50 miles, however big you want to get, all these people, ready? And here's the big thing, take ownership. They're my responsibility. It's my responsibility to get this message out to those people. And here's what happens. When you start combining mindset with taking responsibility for something, you start to take the action steps that are congruent because your brain has to do that. If you tell yourself, Dr. Ora, every day, I'm the greatest chiropractor that ever walked the face of the planet. If you say that incessantly every single day of your life, you have to take the action steps in order to create the level of congruency for that to happen in your life. What's happening is a lot of chiropractors are saying, this doesn't work, this is invaluable, nobody wants to pay for this, I suck, everything I do sucks, right? And so that's the mindset that they have, and of course they proliferate that. And so we have to work on mindset, we have to get a vision bigger than ourselves and take action related to that, accepting responsibility. And then the third thing is, I think we have to work with our teams. A lot of doctors of chiropractic are ignoring their teams. That team, and this is what we talk about in Schubel's Holy Grail of Business, that team has the power to break you, because I see it all the time, doctors that are being held hostage by their teams. Or it has the ability to catapult and exponentiate the vision and the mission and the purpose that you have in your practice. But that doesn't come by accident. That doesn't come, hey, I'm going to get lucky. And this is what I hear. I just interviewed this person. They sound like a superstar. I'm going to hire them. Well, they could be a superstar. They could have the makings of a superstar, but everybody requires a series of training and they require a series of motivation, and you have to have that locked in. So those are my 3 tips to unify the profession, to get us where we need to be, to get our message out at a greater level, and to produce more abundance, not only in our lives, but in the communities that we're impacting.
Those are great. And obviously I started these programs just because I feel indeed we need unity and we need a clear message that we can get through the masses. And yes, we need to work on these relationships with yourself, which is a lot of mindset, a lot of having a clear vision, and then just relationships with the rest of the world, in which I love what you said about being responsible for your community. However, the one thing that always comes to mind, especially when I get to interview awesome people like you, is we know all those things, but I feel that what is missing in chiropractors is the certainty level. And how are we going, I always ask this question because obviously I ask what I think about, and I'm like, if we just had more certainty in 10 years of doing mission trips, I see so many people, and I see people with very little skills that have the certainty and deliver an amazing adjustment, right? Because that certainty and that confidence is what's going to drive you to speak up and to do the things that you just mentioned. Those 3 amazing tips that you just gave us is going to need the chiropractor to have that certainty and that confidence to get there. So what do you think it is the one thing that we can do to improve that certainty and that confidence level?
Well, to be frank with you, I don't think there is one thing. I think it's very important that you have, a multiple sources of input, and this is the thing, input garbage, output garbage. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of us are living in the world of the crazy town, in the world of the crazy people. We're watching way too much television. We're listening to way too much outside-in information. And so we're actually convinced that what we do might not be so great, and that what other people are doing is better. There's doctors of chiropractic that still believe that there's no research that supports what chiropractors are doing, and that's what they go into their offices every day with that in their mind. They still think that we are a limited profession that treats musculoskeletal conditions, and whether that be what they've been taught in school or what they picked up afterwards, this is what's limiting their potential. So I would actually give 4 different things that people could do to increase the level of certainty in their practice and in their lives. The first thing I would do is find mentors who are doing exactly what it is that you want to do. If you see somebody that is talking with certainty and lives a life of certainty, be their shadow. The person who was most influential to me as far as creating certainty was Dr. Sid Williams, the founder of Life University. And he used to say, boy, you got to learn how to talk with authority. And I was like, Sid, what are you talking about? Talk with authority? What does that mean? I can imagine. It's like me listening to Puerto Ricans speak Spanish. I can't understand what they're saying at first, right? And they're cutting off all the words. So Sid had that Southern, drawl of, boy, you got to learn how to talk with authority. And what I did was I hung out with all the people that was in Sid's inner circle, like Fred Barge, Ian Grasham, some of the greats of DE, Sigafus. And I just listened over and over. And then Reggie Gold came on the scene. I started to listen to him. And so if that's what I have going into my mind every day, what do you think starts to come out of my mouth every day? And I remember listening to Sid Williams and say, gosh, this is so brilliant. I could never speak like him. I could never say the things he says. And guess what, Aura? When I started to read the Green Books, I said, son of a bitch, that's where Sid Williams got this, exactly. Right? This isn't even his, He's just repeating back what he's read. And most doctors of chiropractic haven't even read the Green Books, haven't read Joe Strauss's information. So the number one tip is if you want to start to get more certainty, understand and own chiropractic. I had an associate the other day that said to me, hey, doc, how do I take the 33 principles and apply those, with my practice members? And I said, listen, the first thing you need to do is own the 33 principles so that the communication that you have with your practice members is based on those. And so number one is get a mentor. And the second thing is start reading chiropractic. Joe Strauss's Blue Books, read the Green Books, read Cast to Be Chiropractors. I got to tell you, after that, you'll be thrilled. Then the other thing would be research. The Foundation of Vertebral Subluxation Research is putting out research constantly. And by the way, I take that research, and not only do I read it myself, but I share it with my staff so that they know when somebody says, hey, is there any research behind chiropractic and headaches? Yes, an avalanche. Here it is, right? That, like, this is what my thought is always. Moses didn't go, "Hey guys, listen to me." He said, "Here's the Bible. God gave it to me. If you got a problem, you take it up with God. I'm just the messenger over here, right? The principles are the principles. Well, no matter what it is, that's the level of certainty that Moses had, because he's saying it came from this source. And so I go to the source, and I go to where the research is. And the Foundation of Vertebral Subluxation Research is an organization that each and every chiropractor, hundreds of thousands of chiropractors in the world, should be giving a subscription to that. And then I take that research, I share it with my team, and then I also create press releases, and I share that with the media in my community every single week. Why? Because it's my responsibility. I've taken responsibility to make that happen. Believe me, the drug companies have taken responsibility already. They're sending out press releases every week. We're sitting crying about them instead of taking the similar action, learning from them, and then getting our message out to the community. And then the next thing and final thing I would mention along this lines of certainty, and Dr. Ori, you made a great point. I got to tell you about the mission trips. If you go on a mission trip, and it doesn't matter what mission trip you go on, just go on one. Because listen, I have doctors of chiropractic that have never really learned chiropractic in school. They're afraid. They graduate from school. They're afraid. They think chiropractic is dangerous. They think it's limited. And then they go on a chiropractic, and this is the classic thing, the chiropractic student from a CCE accredited school. The CCE, of course, stands for, I love not being on the board of Sherman College of Chiropractic because now I can speak freely. The CCE stands for the Council on Chiropractic Eradication or Elimination. And what they teach, 90-something% of the education there, is absolutely useless to the successful practice of chiropractic. So these students, they're graduating, they're fearful, they don't know who they are, what they do, or why, and they go on a mission trip, and guess what happens? I know you've seen it. The first day, they're like, what should I do? What should I do? Okay, we're going to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. That's it? Well, we don't have anything we could plug machines into here, right? We don't have any, we didn't bring along a satchels full of supplements. So all we could do today is detect, analyze, and adjust. We're limited to that today, okay? And then
just that, yeah.
And then the next day, right, people come back, I couldn't hear, now I can hear, I couldn't see, now I can see, I couldn't walk, now I can walk. And they are just like, wow, imagine this. These are graduates from chiropractic colleges, and they're going, how come nobody ever told me this? Chiropractic is phenomenal. It's like, yes, it is. And this is the thing. If you're acting as if it's not, if you truly believe it is not, well, then your nonverbal communication is ratting you out with your patients every single day. And so in order to gain more level of certainty in 2019, you have to take those 4 steps that I just illustrated. And this is a great interview, Aura. This is one that people are going to want to download and certainly press pause, play it again, take notes. We're laying out here, we're laying out a strategy and a structure for 2019 to get the certainty, listen to me, not only that you deserve, but your practice members deserve this. Do you know, Aura, that there's scientific studies that show the greater the level of certainty in the doctor, no matter what kind of doctor that is, the greater level of clinical outcomes. So the clinical outcomes in your office is dependent on your certainty. So you better get that dialed in, doctor, as well as your detection, analysis, and correction ability.
Wow. Well, that indeed, people, take notes, share with your friends. If you're watching us, please put some hearts, questions, comments. I think this information is vital. I love asking these questions because we all need to hear it and live it and breathe it and just be it. We're so busy in the doing. And I spoke this with Dr. Knowles. I mentioned him again, and we forget about just being, and we have to be all these principles and all those tips in order to make the impact that we say we want to make. And in the spirit of giving more tips out, and just because we feel so grateful, right? This is a time of the year we just want to give even more. So can you give us some of your favorite tools that you use? For example, like favorite book that you haven't written, favorite app, or something that you just couldn't live without, that you use every day, and it just helps you to be in this mindset, in this go set, in this be set, in order to make the impact.
Great. So my favorite book is Think and
Which
Grow
one?
Rich.
Oh, Think and Grow Rich. Yes,
Think
of course.
and Grow Rich. So, so great what you said, Dr. Aura. We are so caught up in the what?
And the doing and not being. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so it's the thinking. He didn't say do and grow rich. He said think and grow rich. And this is why it's so important. I see you take time off. You had a great trip. I enjoyed following you around there in England, in jolly old London there. I thought it was phenomenal. And, I just had a 2-week vacation in Egypt this year. And I have to tell you, people are afraid to take vacations. I come out of vacations with millions of dollars worth of ideas that then I start to strategize about, create structure about, and then implement. And those ideas bring me to another level of consciousness and another level of abundance. So I would say Think and Grow Rich is a book that you need to get and you need to start reading. If you haven't ever read it, you should probably read it once a month for the first 12 months. If you followed those principles, I love it. If you followed those principles of success, there is no other way that you cannot be successful. Oh my goodness, it's a raid.
April.
Hit the deck. April. So that's my favorite book. There are 2 apps that I can recommend that you should probably get a hold of. One is an exercise app that is well, I don't have it handy right now, but it's an exercise app that actually gets you to the point. If you're not a runner and you ever want to be a runner, it gets you to the point of being able to run 5K, starting from 0 and going to 5K without hurting yourself. Okay. So I'll put that in one of the comments here at the bottom when I get off. But one of the ones I found just recently is called Grammarly. Grammarly, Grammarly, Grammarly. And I downloaded it to my desktop here. I have it on my phone. And get this, what this does is every time you write something, it tells you what a better way to say it would be.
I need that, please. I need that. My kids correct me all the time. My grammar is horrible. I need that.
Yes. And by the way, I need it for Spanish.
I need it for both languages. This is very sad confession. But yes, you're going to post them here. Yes.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's a great app because listen, the way you communicate, your ability to communicate, chiropractic or anything, is directly proportional to the level of success you have in life. Look at everybody who's the greatest attorneys, the greatest chiropractors, the greatest medical doctors. They're all excellent communicators. And that's what we need to learn in chiropractic. And you can't communicate what you don't own. So that's why what we talked about before, being certain, is number one. Yep. And so those are my 2 app tips, if you will.
Oh, I love it. I love sharing those tips. I think we can all benefit from it. And probably this conversation is just going to make you make an app, right? Probably. You're going to make an app out of this.
Have to get the Schubel Vision app for everybody.
Exactly. Just with all those tips. I think that you can gather the contents of this interview and make an app with it. I'm sure it'll be downloadable and we can. It's going to be great. But thank you.
I think we'll call it Beauty and the Beast app.
Oh, I love it. I love that you gave us so many tips. And now I will give you my last question because I know we have to go and have another interview in an hour. So please, people, stay tuned. Do you have any regrets? And if so, why? Or if you can choose, you get 2 questions and you choose which one to answer because we don't have that much time. Or what do you think is your biggest accomplishment and why? So you can go with the regrets or the accomplishment. Maybe you should go with the regrets, if any.
I think regrets is probably the most important because it really, I think we need to reframe that word regret. To me, regret would be not trusting the universe. And so then you would label a regret as something that you wish never happened or that was something negative. When in reality, anything that we regret is really just a lesson in our lives. Yeah. Things we put the phraseology on it. We charge that thing as being positive or negative. But when you look back at your life, really all the things that happened to you that you quote might regret were actually crucial to make you who you are today. And so that experience is you. And so you have to embrace who you are and what you do and why. and you have to love yourself, and you have to be thankful for everything that's happened in your life, even if you want to label it good or bad. Some of the things that in my life that were tough lessons to learn, we could put it in this terminology, what some people would regret. Tough lessons to learn were divorce, and I really enjoyed your presentation at sushi summer camp, because I felt that pain. I've been in that painful situation when you're with somebody and you realize this is not the person that I'm destined to be with. We picked our partner based on maybe the way they looked, the way they made us feel, the passion that we felt, right? Mm-hmm. And then we said, holy smokes, there's more to partnership than that, right? Yeah. There has to be common core values. But I'm thankful for that because, and I'm sure you are too, because now when you look for that next person, you're saying, okay, let me make sure that we have, no matter what the other stuff, that has to fall in line, but let's make sure that we're basing this on core fundamental values, right? And so what a great lesson that is, and what a great lesson we can teach our children with that, because we've been through it. So that's one. The second thing I think a lot of people regret is maybe a child that is not going to their highest level of potential, right? And so that's an area we say, gosh, I know you're capable of so much more. Well, the lesson for that is, guess what? They're on their journey. They're on their path. You can guide them as much as you want. But listen, some people are going to go on different paths than you, and that's fine, and that's okay. And you just keep loving them for where they're at. And then I think the third regret that I've had, if you want to say regret, is sometimes haven't we trusted people too much, whether it be an associate or a fellow colleague in chiropractic or a mate or something like that. You trust this person and then they let you down and you say, gosh, I regret, I shouldn't have ever trusted them. No, they taught you something about people and about yourself, and that's helped you become a better person during the course of your life. And so I'm thankful, I'm grateful for all those things that some people would call regrets, because they've allowed me to mature and I think be a better person in the course of the process. And so I think if we embrace those things and we're thankful for them and we learn from them, well, then that's certainly a way more healthier way to live your life, and a joyous way to live our life. We deserve to be joyous. I mean, listen, we won the race. We won the race. We were the best. We were the best sperm out of all the sperms that were out there. We were the strongest. We were the quickest. We were the fastest. And that's not by accident. It's because we deserve to be here because we're awesome. And we're awesome. Chiropractic is awesome. And we have so much potential and we are so blessed. So let's start living those blessings, taking responsibility for those blessings, and sharing those blessings with the world, especially at this time of the holiday season. It's a great time to remind ourselves.
I love that. And obviously I call it regrets just because it's the word that people use, but I'm with you on that page very much. So I think it's blessings, and it just turns us into who we are today, so we can even bless others with our journey. And everybody has their journey and everything happens for a reason. And if we just see the different perspective on it, we learn immediately and we become grateful and move on to the next challenge, because life will have its challenge, and we grow and become better every single time. And with the spirit of things, and you're talking about relationships, I will definitely give everybody watching that wants it on how to get the love you want. I will give you that whole video series of mine for free for Christmas. If you message me, I will send that to you, because I think working on our relationships, as we do in chiropractic, in business, in our household, in our inner circle, and everything else, is what's going to enrich us in the long run and enrich our journey and everybody that we encounter, whether it's our patients, our clients, our family, our friends. So this has been terrific. Thank you so much for being part of my Naked TikTok this lunch. And I wish you a beautiful holiday season, wherever you go in the world with your beautiful family. Indeed, you do have a very hot wife, and I congratulate you for that. So thank you so much. Any last comment right before we go? Oh, definitely about your book. Where can they get it? We're going to post it right here, right?
Right. You can get it on Amazon.com. It's called Schubel's Holy Grail of Business. Also, you can check it out at SchubelsHolyGrail.com, SchubelsHolyGrail.com, if you want to get more information. I also want to thank Danny Knowles for making this possible. Of course, Danny Knowles, and hashtag Danny Knowles. For the coming year, I look forward to seeing everybody. I'll be signing copies of both those books, Cast to Be Chiropractors and Schubel's Holy Grail of Business, at the Berkshire Philosophy event. It's the Berkshire event coming up in March, www.ticevent.com. Then, of course, Cairo Sushi Summer Camp coming up in, I believe it's June or July, down in Miami. That's going to be fantastic. And to end out the year, I always like to do Dr. Danny Knowles' Mile High up there, milehighcairo.org. So I'm just grateful. I'm just thankful for the entire population of chiropractic. We have such a great brotherhood and a great sisterhood. And for the holiday seasons, I think great message. Let's love each other more and let's help each other more. And unify around that detection, analysis, and correction of vertebral subluxation. We can have anything we want in this world. We just got to ask ourselves, what is it that we want specifically, and what are we willing to sacrifice to get it? And I know that together it'll be a lot easier journey than fighting and being apart.
I love it. Together we rise indeed. So I hope this was a blessing to you. Please share with your friends and loved ones. Give us comments. Message me if you want the How to Get the Love You Want video series. And all the links will be posted here, as well as the apps, the one that I need for sure. And thank you so much. I'm going to be jumping on another interview in about 20 minutes. So stay tuned, because I'll come back with my first couple ever. I'm super excited to have a working, loving couple of chiropractor and his wife on. So that will be a first for me. And thank you again. Love and appreciate you, everybody. Stay tuned. Let's unify each other. Ciao.
Hasta luego. Bendiciones. Gracias.
Bye.